amazing this 2023. My name is Liku Amadi, founder and attorney of Anasa Law Firm, where I work with online service providers to help them establish a solid legal foundation for business through contracts, trademarks, and legal strategy. So today's topic is again about trademarks, and I asked a question on social media that said, excuse me, I asked a question that said, what do you do first when turning a lead into a client? Do you have them sign a contract or do you have them make the payment? And I asked that question because I've seen it done both ways. Now, as an attorney from a legal protection standpoint, I definitely have my preference and opinion as the one way it should be done. And that's what I'm going to break down for you guys today is that sign first, get the payment later. Sign first, get the payment later. That is the best way to do it to protect yourself. And before I dive into that, again, I am a licensed attorney. However, anything I say on this live is not considered legal advice. It is legal information for educational purposes only. And if you need legal advice, you need to enter into an engagement with me or another attorney to get that advice specific to you. If you are watching this live, go ahead and comment live, #live, drop your questions in the chat. If you are catching this via replay, go ahead and #replay. And if you have questions, still drop them in the chat or comments, depending what platform you are on. So the answer to the question, do you have them sign the contract first or take the payment first, is they sign first, pay later, right? And the reason behind that is really, really simple. You want people to understand the commitment that they are making before they pay you. Plain and simple. You want people to understand what they're getting into with you and this business relationship before they give you any money and invest in you for your services. So the idea is twofold, right? Number one, it's your responsibility. I always say that as a business owner, it is your duty to lay the law of the land as to how you and the client are going to work together. It's your responsibility to say, these are the terms of the agreement. This is how we communicate. This is how you pay me. This is when you pay me. This is how refunds work. This is how it works when I get you these deliverables. This is how it works when we need to change our agreement or extend our time together. It is your responsibility to lay the law of the land. And having a solid and thorough contract in place helps you do that, right? That is your opportunity to say, here, this is how we are going to work together. The second part of that is it gives the client the opportunity to exercise their responsibility. And it's their responsibility to make an informed business decision before deciding to work with you and handing over money to invest in your services. Good morning. Hey, good morning, Camille. Excuse me. I don't know what's happening, but we here, we talking. It is their responsibility, right? And so unfortunately, there are times where people don't read contracts, but doing your responsibility, you want to make sure you're covered. So you give them the contract and the terms to read. Now it is on them to read exactly how they're going to work with you, what is required of them, how payment and communication, etc., all those policies are going to work. Because at the end of it all, you both want to be on the same page going into this business relationship, during the business relationship, and coming out of it. And that contract is going to be your home, right? So before you collect or ask for any money, make sure that you've given the client the opportunity to make an informed business decision. And I say that also because, unfortunately, what we put out there in our marketing, our sales pages, our lives, right? Whatever we are communicating out there to the public, even on our sales calls or those initial contacts when we're one-on-one with someone who's trying to invest in us, it doesn't always translate to what's in the contract. Now, that's not always intentional. Sometimes it is intentional in order to get to the sale, but that contract is the last resort for that person to really understand what it means to work with you, right? And so, for example, if you are And I've seen this actually a few times since the end of last year, and seen like I think two of these so far this year, which is only 3 days, but you get it, is like coach in your back pocket, right? Or boxer in your back pocket, unlimited access to you as a coach, consultant, or service provider. That is what people are offering someone. So when you hear unlimited, tell me in the comments what you think, right? When you hear unlimited access, when you hear in my back pocket, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? Let me see if some of y'all are still here. What does it mean to you when you hear unlimited access or in my back pocket, right? What that communicates to me is in my back pocket, I can pull you out anytime I need you. I can talk to you, send you messages, send you voice notes. You're going to be there anytime I need you, whether it's 6 a.m. or 9 p.m. in the evening, on Saturday, Wednesday afternoon, right? That is what unlimited access, back pocket service means to me. You are there for me whenever needed, right? And so that's kind of the value that's being communicated in these offers. However, when you get to the contract, if you're, for example, searching for three different people, if you're searching and you come across three different people and they offer this type of access, you're like, you know what? I need this in business this year. I need to find a coach or consultant who can be in my back pocket so I could just talk to them about my ideas and the things that I'm going through. If you look at three different people and they all offer unlimited back pocket boxer access, promise you, I promise you that each of their terms will probably be different as to how they're defining that back pocket or unlimited access, right? Unlimited sounds like 24 hours a day. Yep, 7 days a week, being on call. That's exactly right. It means you can use you whenever. Yep, exactly right. Unlimited availability. That is right. So that's what we're talking about here. We're all on the same page. But like I said, I guarantee you that each of those people is going to have a different definition for what that unlimited access looks like. One person might say they have boxer days, right? You can hit me on my boxer days. It'll be in the contract. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. You're probably reading that like, that's not the unlimited access that I thought it was going to be, right? If you're a specific type of business owner and you wanted that 24/7, on call, that might not work for you. So before you give someone your money, you might want to make a different decision, right? You might decide against that. Another person might say that unlimited access includes, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, no weekends. And this is like, okay, business hours, I can work with that. Another person can say, you only get to talk to me Wednesday through Sunday. You're like, okay, majority of the week, but it'll take up to, expect up to 3 days for me to respond to you. Right. So you still have like a lot of that access all day, Wednesday through Sunday. But if it takes maybe 2 to 3 days for someone to get back to you, or could potentially take that long for them to get back to you, that could be a deal breaker as well. Right. Which is why, again, it's important that we give people the opportunity to really read exactly how we want them to work with us before they agree. Because for me, if you're telling me in the sales call, on the landing page, and all the messaging that I get unlimited access, and then we come back later to the contract and I'm eager and I'm about to sign and I'm reading Wednesday to Sunday. Okay, up to 3 days response time, and then you have more restrictions, right? Let's say your message can't be longer than 1 minute. You can't send more than 5 messages a day, right? Like, these are the nitty-gritty items that we need to know before we give people our money, right? On the consumer side. And again, on the business side, it's your opportunity, your responsibility, your duty as a business owner to give that client or potential client the opportunity to really read those fine details, right, as to how they are supposed to work with you before they give you their money. And then just lastly, why would you want to hold somebody's money without them committing to you, right? I'm not a bank. I do not want that responsibility. I don't. Don't give me your money. Don't give me hundreds or thousands of dollars and say, yeah, I'll get the contract to you in 2 days, or I need to double check with my, higher up or consult with my team. But, here's a little something to make sure that we work together. Like, I'm in this. I'm not going to take that. And you shouldn't either, because situations like that could create a different type of commitment that you're not even aware of. And there are those situations where somebody might have a 9, 10, 15 page contract, 20-page contract negotiations might need to be had. They may need to check with their higher up. So maybe you're requiring, let's say, a deposit in order to hold the date or to hold space for people to potentially work with you. And that is perfectly fine, but that too comes with terms. So again, you want people to know what exactly is going on when they put down that money to be able to reserve that time or space to work with you. So even if you're taking that initial payment or deposit up front, and people still they still have other conditions to meet on their end before they could give you the signed contract, you still want to have terms to go along that as well. Don't just take people's money for the sake of taking their money and hoping that they will work with you. Someone who is reading the contract thoroughly, asks questions, lets you know that they need to make an edit or tweak in this arena. That is the type of client that you want to work with. Again, the answer is simple. Have them sign first and pay after, because you want to give the clients an opportunity to make a well-informed business decision after they're aware of exactly what it's going to be like working with you. We are going to be going over this more in depth in my contracts work session on January 26th. I'm super excited for this because, again, contracts, these are the foundation of our client relationship. So if you are doing business, if you expect more business coming in 2023, if you want to continue working with clients, you need to make sure that foundation is tight. And what we'll be doing in the contracts work session is a live assessment to find those red flags in your contracts that are keeping you from being legally protected, that are putting you at risk, those contract red flags that you just don't know about because you're not an attorney, right? Or you don't have that legal expertise. So I am there to facilitate that assessment. So literally print out your contract. Whatever contract you're using, print it out, have it next to you. Where's my red pen at? Have you a good red pen, right, to make these corrections and these notes in the margins. And after our 2-hour session, you will know the red flags that are in your contracts, how they're holding you back, and strategies to move forward with a better contract in the new year. And of course, at the end, I will have some type of offer to work with me. But the real value is having that clarity, right? Having that awareness, having that security of just knowing, like, man, this is what's going on with my contract. Now I know how to move forward before I ask people to invest in me more and more going into 2023. So register for the contracts work session on January 26th, 3 p.m. West Coast time. I will go ahead and drop the link in the comments. If you can't catch it live, then the replay will be available for a limited time. And if you have questions, drop them in the comments. Send me a DM. I am always available. And with that being said, let's make sure 2023 is a year where we are tightening up our legal foundation for business. Because if you're still doing business this year, if you made it through the pandemic, that is a sign that your business is going to catapult. So let's make sure that it's launching from a solid foundation. Talk to y'all later. Catch me on the next live and have an amazing